Before your baby ever saw your face, they already knew your voice. In the last weeks of pregnancy, they were listening. And within days of being born, a baby will already turn toward their mother's voice over a stranger's, because they've been learning the sound of you from the inside. Your voice was your baby's very first world. And here's what almost no one tells you. Every single time you talk to your baby now, narrating a diaper change, singing in the car, murmuring nonsense over a bottle, something extraordinary is happening inside their head. Their brain is building itself, fast. In the first years of life, a baby's brain forms more than 1 million new connections every second. And your voice is one of the most powerful things shaping which of those connections stay. And that word, stay, matters more than you'd think. Because your baby's brain doesn't only build connections, it also trims them. The pathways that get used again and again grow strong and permanent. The ones that go unused quietly fade away. It's a little like footpaths through a field. The routes you walk every day become clear, worn trails. The ones nobody uses grow over. So every warm conversation you have with your baby is you, walking those language pathways with them, over and over, until they become roads for life. So today, we're going inside your baby's brain to see what actually happens when you talk to them. And I promise you, it is not what most parents think. Because there's one thing you probably do without realizing that matters far more than the number of words you say, and one very common thing that for your baby's language does almost nothing at all. Stay with me for both. Now, in our last video, you learned something that stays with a lot of parents. Your baby won't consciously remember these early days, but their brain quietly keeps how they felt, forever. So today, we're answering the natural next question. What is one of the most powerful, everyday things you do that their brain holds on to? It turns out, it's the sound of your voice. Let's start with the myth. For years, parents were told a simple story. The more words your baby hears, the smarter they'll be. It came from a famous study in the 1990s that found children in some homes heard millions more words by age 3 than children in others, the so-called word gap. And it launched a whole movement of just talking more, flooding your baby with words. But here's the twist, and it changes everything. Newer research suggests the raw number of words isn't the magic ingredient at all. Scientists at MIT and Harvard looked closely, and what best predicted a child's language and brain development wasn't how many words they heard. It was the number of back and forth turns, the little conversational volleys. You say something, you pause, your baby answers however they can, a coo, a gurgle, a wiggle, and you respond to that. In the children who had more of these exchanges, the language center of the brain, an area called Broca's area, was measurably more active. Not from being talked at, from being talked with. So the single most powerful thing isn't a word count, it's the turn, the pause, the invitation. Every time you leave a little space and let your baby reply, you're not just teaching language, you're handing them a conversation, and their brain lights up to receive it. Picture it. You're feeding your baby, and you say, "Was that a good one?" Then you stop. Your baby gives a little grunt, or a blink, or kicks a leg, and instead of moving straight on, you answer it. "Oh, it was. I could tell." That's a turn. It looks like nothing at all. But to your baby's brain, that tiny back and forth is worth more than 100 words poured into the air, because for one small moment, they weren't an audience. They were a partner in a conversation. Now here's where it gets genuinely surprising, and this is the part I most want you to hear. A researcher named Patricia Kuhl ran one of the most famous experiments in all of baby science. She took 9-month-old American babies and exposed them to Mandarin Chinese, sounds that don't exist in English. Some of the babies spent time with a live person, a real human speaking Mandarin, playing with them face to face. Others got the exact same Mandarin, the same speaker, the same lessons, but on a screen, a video, or just audio. And the results were stunning. The babies who learned from a living, breathing person soaked up those foreign sounds beautifully, as well as babies raised in Taiwan. But the babies who got the identical lessons from a screen or a speaker, they learned nothing. Zero. It was as if the sounds had never happened. Sit with that for a second. The information was exactly the same. The only thing that changed was whether a real human was there, in the room, connecting. Kuhl's conclusion was that language learning is, in her words, gated by the social brain. Babies don't learn language from sound alone. They learn it from people, from your eyes, your turn-taking, your warmth, the whole living exchange. So here's the honest, gentle takeaway. That educational video, that clever app, that background audio promising to boost your baby's brain, for actually learning language in these early months, it does far less than you'd hope. There is no app on earth that can do what you do just by turning to your baby and talking with them. You are the technology. You always were. And to be clear, this isn't about guilt or throwing every screen out the window. A video call with grandparents, a little screen time so you can finally take a shower, that's real life. And it's okay. It simply means that when it comes to actually learning language, in these early months, nothing replaces a real, present person who responds. The most powerful baby brain app ever invented is just you, turning toward your baby and talking with them. Now let me give you permission for something you probably already do, and maybe feel a little silly about. That high, sing-song, exaggerated voice we all slip into around babies. Oh, hello, who's a happy baby? There's a name for it, Parentese. And far from being silly, science says it's one of the smartest things you can do. Here's the key though, because there's a myth to clear up. Parentese is not baby gibberish. It's not goo-goo gaga nonsense words. It's real, clear language, just delivered in a higher pitch, slower, with big, warm, exaggerated melody. And that exaggeration is exactly what a baby's brain needs. The slower pace and stretched out sounds make it easier for them to pick apart where one word ends and the next begins. And the warmth of it grabs and holds their attention. Here's what that sounds like in real life. Instead of a flat, adult, "Okay, it's time for your nap now," you naturally lift into it. "Oh, is it nice and sleepy time?" "Yes, it is." Same real words. Just slower, higher, warmer. To another adult, it might sound a little ridiculous. To your baby's brain, it's a spotlight, making the language glow so they can find it. Researchers found that the more parents naturally use Parentese, the more their babies babble back, more turns, and the stronger their language becomes months later. They even coached parents to use more of it, and it worked. Parentese, one scientist said, is a social catalyst. So go ahead, use the silly voice, stretch out their name, sing your sentences. Your baby's brain is built to love it and to grow from it. But talking to your baby is about so much more than language. And this is the part the science is only beginning to fully honor. Every time your baby makes a sound and you answer it, you light up. You say, "Oh, really? Tell me more." They learn something far bigger than words. They learn, my voice reaches someone. When I reach out, the world reaches back. I matter. That is the very first lesson in connection, and it's built through these tiny talking turns, long before a single real word arrives. And there's another layer. Your baby understands the music of your voice long before the meaning. They can't parse your words yet, but they are exquisitely tuned to your tone, its warmth, its calm, its tension. When you speak to them gently, their nervous system borrows that calm, so your voice isn't just teaching them to talk, it's teaching them whether the world is a safe place to be. It's language, connection, and comfort, all carried on the same stream of sound. Think of the last time your baby was upset, and you leaned in close and murmured, I know, it's okay, I've got you." They didn't understand a single one of those words, but they understood everything that actually mattered. The softness, the steadiness, the fact that your voice came closer instead of going away. That's your voice doing two jobs at once, teaching language and whispering safety. So let's make it practical. How do you actually talk to your baby in a way that builds their brain? It's simpler than you think. Narrate your day but leave gaps. Say something, then pause and let them answer, even if the answer is just a wiggle. Use Parentese without shame. Stretch it out, sing it. Name what your baby is looking at. Follow their gaze and put words to it, because words land best when they match what has your baby's attention. Read to them, even now. Picture books are pure, focused language. Sing. Melody makes language stickier. And respond to their coos and babbles like they're the most interesting thing you've ever heard, because to their developing brain, your answer is everything. And whenever you can, choose your face over a screen. Live beats digital, every single time. And if you ever freeze up thinking, I don't even know what to say to a baby, here's the secret. It genuinely does not matter what you say. You can describe the dishes you're washing, read the back of the shampoo bottle out loud. Give a full, dramatic commentary on what the dog is doing. Your baby isn't grading your material. They're soaking up your voice, your rhythm, your attention. So talk about absolutely anything, as long as it's warm, and as long as you leave a little room for them to answer. Now, I want to speak to a few of you directly, because I know this topic can bring up worry. If you're an introvert, or you're just exhausted, and the idea of narrating every moment out loud feels impossible, please breathe. You do not have to talk nonstop. Your baby does not need a running commentary from dawn to dusk. They need some warm, back and forth moments, sprinkled through the day. Quality, not quantity. Silence is allowed. Rest is allowed. A few real, connected exchanges matter far more than filling every second with chatter. And if you're raising your baby with more than one language, and someone warned you it'll confuse them, the science says the opposite. Babies' brains are beautifully wired for this. Growing up bilingual doesn't slow them down. It's a lifelong gift. Speak to your baby in the language your heart speaks. And dads, partners, grandparents, your voices count too. A baby's brain drinks in every warm, familiar voice around them. It was never only about one person. One last, honest note. Babies learn to talk on a wide range of timelines, and comparison is the thief of joy here. But you know your baby best. If your baby isn't babbling or responding to sounds and voices as you'd expect, if you ever have concerns about their hearing, or if speech seems delayed as they grow, there's no harm and a lot of good in checking with your pediatrician or a speech-language pathologist. Not to panic, just to ask. Asking early is always the loving move. So the next time you find yourself chatting away to a baby who can't say a single word back, narrating the laundry, asking a question into those wide, watching eyes, know this: you are not talking to yourself. You are building a brain. You are wiring in language and connection and the deep, wordless certainty that they are heard, 1,000,000 connections a second, and your voice, helping choose which ones last a lifetime. Your baby already loves the sound of you. They always have, since before they were born, and every ordinary word you say is quietly shaping the person they're becoming. And before you go, if this touched something in you, tap that like and share it with a tired parent who needs to hear it today. Then tell me in the comments, what does your baby do that you wish you understood better? I read every one, and your question could become our very next Baby Antics video. And subscribe to Baby Antics so you never miss what your baby is quietly trying to tell you. I'll see you in the next one.